Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you had a good evening. Hope you guys are ready to go today. Looks like we got some bullishness out, but I'm more bullish on you guys. You guys are showing up bright and early. We got Chuck in the house. Good morning. We got Al in the house, Albert, Alex. We got Andy, Bill, Brian. We got Chi Chin. Good morning to Christopher, my homegirl. Gina's in the house. GWJ up early today. We got Joe, Kevin, Mark, Martina, Paul, Rock, Tanya, Tony, Win. All my peeps piling in. All my people in YouTube land. We got Jennifer. We got all you guys sitting in the background of YouTube land, just lurking, not typing. It's all good. We still love you either way. But yeah, let's go. Let's see what this market wants to give us today. So far, at least we got a little bit of bullishness. Pretty fairly decent gap up. So this is a gap and go. You guys know sometimes I'm looking at targets and I'm like, this is a gap and go, but it might not get there. I don't know if it's going to struggle. This one looks like it has really nice potential. We are above in the SPY, all sorts of VPOCs and high volume areas. So we're looking pretty good today. Could we get a little bit of a pullback? Yes, if anything pulls back, I would be buying the dip today. 398.40 would be my first entry level. And if we somehow figure out how to get down to 397.41, that would be a much stronger kind of retest. So we'll see what happens out of the gate. Otherwise, in the SPY, we got a lot of room. So we got all the way up to about 403.71 before really our first kind of target or some kind of resistance. Maybe we play around with this wick from the day. It might be a little bit of at least a psychological spot of people like, well, the bears sold there last time. But yeah, I think we have the ability to break it. I kind of don't want to be short really anything. Qs we'll take a look at real quick as well. But yeah, for right now, everything is by the dip. And I'm hoping we get a dip. It is a really, really nice gap. Qs may be a little bit different. So SPY to me looks a little bit better than the Qs. SPY probably getting pushed a little bit by Lululemon, which we'll take a look at as well. And decent gap on the SPY, on the Qs. This is still a gap and go. We are above some decent level of what was resistance, now should be support. The one thing I'd be looking at is 311.28, which is an okay resistance. We've already hit that once, almost tested it twice. So let's see if third time is a charm, but we do have a little bit of resistance on the Qs as opposed to the SPY. So I do like SPY a little bit better today. But it is still very, very nice gap and go on the Qs. So a little bit more excited that some of the gap and goes will actually work today. We've had obviously some of the gap and goes that you're like, this looks great, and then it just struggle buses. I think today might be a little bit different. We'll have to see. We got Daniel in YouTube land. Good morning. Richard Jet. Good morning. It's Richard Jet's birthday. Woo! Happy birthday, Richard Jet. Maybe we'll get some R's for you today. We got Heather in YouTube land. Good morning. We got Pat. Good morning. Man, Richard Jet, 21 years old today. That's incredible. 21. He didn't say that, I'm guessing. I'm just going to take a stab at it. All right, so Lulu, massive gap up on the earnings because everybody loves stretchy pants. This one I do see being a little bit different. We are gapping into a little bit of resistance, and we do have one more spot or one or two more spots above us, 379.69 and probably about 381.96. So I think the risk to reward is actually to fade this one bearish, believe it or not. Really nice gap. Technically, it is a retest gap, so we have that on our side for today. But this is a massive, massive gap. How far we fall, that I have no idea, but we would have a lot of room to the downside. A lot more room to the downside with some pretty decent resistance. I mean, the safer stop would be somewhere around 382.86. I don't think we have to go that wide, but definitely definitely going to put this one high on the list. And I'm looking actually to fade that one bearish. Everything else, we'll see if we can look to probably go bullish on, but that one's already kind of did its thing. Coupon decade off. There you go. All right, we got Disney. So Disney, I've been watching, been looking at, and I'm gonna take this little blue line off. Not sure what that one means, but I've been looking at this one for maybe a little bit of a double bottom, pretty good kind of retest candle. Nice push. This candle's a retest. We're gapping above that. I think we have targets. I don't know how crazy this one runs, but probably looking at 96.30 to the upside on Disney. So also an interesting spot maybe for long term as well. So picking up a couple shares of Disney, I wouldn't get mad. It does look to me like we have a full 5. I think we had this in the I don't know if the afternoon room or the one before it, but that would be 3, 4, 5. This consolidation is probably some type of ABC. And we're probably looking for a wave 3 to come in and start on Disney. So a little bit of a challenge right in that zone. Anything past there should get us past $100. Maybe with a pullback, and then I could even see this thing kind of landing somewhere around 105. So could be $10 to the upside, but that'd be more swing trade, not so much day trade. Still looks interesting, regardless, for probably more continuation bullish. Nvidia. So I do have the puts on Nvidia. I'm still going to be positive at open, but I don't know. They do have me second guessing. I like this level a lot. That was a good kind of like a hammerish doji off of a high wave. So either I'm going to keep the put, which I think I probably do, and then just nonstop trade Nvidia bullish to the upside. Try to make the money back that way potentially, but still looks decent. We do have some type of resistance, probably around this 270. Has been a little bit tough, and if we go one higher, we'd have to look at this 270, 253 again as targets, but could make a little bit of room. I think in this zone at least is probably better plays than to play Nvidia. This is going to be a little bit of a chop zone with some decent targets. Probably about $6 on a daily range from highs to lows. Baba, which so frustrating yesterday. I did play Baba yesterday, and I was like, just break down already, just do it. So I saw this little thing come in, good. I was like, there's our Head and Shoulders, looks good. But I still made, I don't know, half R in this thing. Maybe about a full R because I played it twice. I played this first move down, sold it, ended up getting back in roughly the same price. I needed for 2 Rs. It was a tight setup. All I needed was like 97, 90. I think it was like 97. Do I still have it up here in my chart? I was looking for 97.45. Yep. So obviously holding that overnight would have been key. This area on Baba. So again, it is super strong from yesterday. It has run a lot. And I would say that there could be a little bit of shift. Could be a little bit of shift on Baba today. Not taking anything away from Baba or the massive move it had yesterday, but there's a lot of stocks still a little beat up in the market that didn't just run 14.5% yesterday. Right. So people are like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'll move my money from Baba into something else that I have another shot at of hitting something decent. If I was to play this one, though, I would need another retest into the zone. I don't know if we have to get all the way to that VPOC, but even if we get into like a $98 range, so wherever we open, hit that 98, and then maybe we roll down, we should have decent targets into here. We have no liquidity whatsoever in the zone, and this is our spot. So this would be our target. So we'll see. Everything obviously bullish. I do think Baba still has a bullish move, or at least sentiment to it for right now. Getting some kind of pullback would make a lot of sense. So I do have Baba Probably not going to be something out of the gate. Going to watch, see if we get back to that $98 zone. Maybe we do get to 98.41. That'd be terrific. And take our shot. Take our shot. We still have that head and shoulders in play. So again, nothing crazy out of the gate, but something I will definitely be watching. Ron, good morning, Dan, and all you great people at RLT. What's happening, Ron? Hope you're doing fantastic. All right, we got Wayfair. This is another one I've been watching. I haven't made any plays. I did finally buy some 3M yesterday. So 3M I was picking up, but Wayfair, I've been watching this one for a little bit. I do like this consolidation. There's a good retest. It is a gap and go day trade wise. Again, probably volume is going to be a little bit lower, but I'm watching this area. It was still inside of yesterday's candle. I'm just kind of going down the list for right now. But if you guys have individual stocks you want to take a look at, make sure you guys throw that into the chat and we will take a look for that. Tesla's going to be a cute little gap. Pretty cute, like JC Penney pictured gap. I think the direction's still bullish. That was a good trap yesterday. So if you were throwing your stops anywhere, that would be the location. We do have this wick down here. We are gapping now above this. We have, even though it's a little bit of sideways chop, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. We've already retested this gap. It's maybe a little bit leaning to the little bit of slight chop zone. So we have lower VPOC from there. Then we get a higher VPOC. Then we get lower than everything. That's kind of a downtrend, but it looks a little bit like maybe a pennant flag at the end of the day. And if we have that little bit of a gap and go, if we can finally get the break on this thing, it would be nice. But at least up to $200. I think we could easily get back to 200. If not, probably about 206 is my target. So we'll watch it. We'll see if there's anything better out of the gate. It hasn't really broke that little formation, but definitely a strong lean to the bullish side on that one for me. Netflix, I would assume this is going to be a little bit probably chop fest as well. So this is technically a gap and go. It's still inside day. Again, if we were just to kind of go all Bob Ross and redraw all these pictures, this is where we opened. Right, this is where we closed. All the action got right up in that zone. So essentially we have still an inverse hammer, and even though it's been bullish, I think we get a little bit, I would expect a little bit more of a retest first, and then if we're going to go. So still kind of just fighting in that formation. So Netflix probably not too crazy today. Baidu Boeing. Square was one. Square was interesting. So we've seen obviously Square just absolutely get wrecked and tanked, and everyone's like, what's going to happen with Square? Long term, I'm still not sold on Square. Still not there yet. I'm not buying any Square yet. For me, again, I just prefer PayPal over Square. I don't mind owning Square though, just in case. But I still, for me, want it lower. That being said, obviously we got a massive retest gap down. Bulls have started coming in at these lower pricing, and today's gap on Square could be interesting. This is a gap and go. What I like on this gap is the fact that we are clearing every single VPOC, whether developing or closed, but in this formation, every single VPOC, obviously breaking this, there's not a lot in the way until that gap fill. Maybe some moving averages could come in, something like that, but it's decent. So because it's inside gap, or inside day, I would still probably look for a pullback, buy the pullback, and then hopefully we get the break. Just get us a better risk to reward. But Square would definitely, I think, be one to watch. Could pick up some steam if we could, especially if we get some candles closing above yesterday's, but probably as close as possible to that little VPOC, which would be 63.85 would be an interesting spot. I don't know, but it did have a decent bullish bullish feel at one point and then just massive sell off and completely reversing inverse hammer, which we are essentially gapping above open and close of yesterday as well. Somebody in Scott in YouTube land says SMCI. Super microcomputer. It's not just a micro, it is super. Yeah, so you have a little bit of a gap up. Day trade wise, though, it could still be a little choppy, right? It is still an inside day from previous day. That's a lot of selling. I would expect that much selling. I mean, we got from 110.50 essentially, and some point we got down to like 101.50. It's a lot of selling. I would imagine there's going to be two things happening here. One, anybody who took that thing short is probably going to look for some profit, especially with this little gap up. But two, if anybody does like super microcomputers in the long term, looking for a discount, that probably was a delivery of it. It was a good location to kind of stop at and kind of found a little bit of support. I would say you do have probably about 106.61 would be my first target. I don't know with this amount of bearishness if we could get up to these levels today, right? What really changed? I don't know what caused that selling that came in yesterday. I think there's going to be some skeptical people trying to aggressively get in. I mean, we are roughly at all-time highs, I think, at least from what I see, unless there was something else that I missed. But yeah, that's a super chart for a super microcomputer. So we're still relatively high on this thing. I personally would be looking for more of a pullback on this thing. If I like it long term, I would definitely have to do a little bit more research on this one. I just kind of like the name, so maybe I will pick up some shares, but I can't do it here. I would need some kind of a bigger sell off. You're still very, very high. Lots of people profitable in this thing, and I think that might hamper the bull run from this gap and go. It is a gap and go, but still inside, so it could be a little tricky on that. Affirm. AFRM. Buy now, pay if you want. If you have the money, if you get the allowance in, then all right, send us some if you could. Send us a little bit if you could. These guys had a bad day yesterday from, I believe it was Apple coming out with essentially the same model, buy now and pay if you feel like it, which is the entire business for Affirm. So naturally they got absolutely hammered on that news. And I didn't see Apple come back and recall that information and say, just kidding. Why would we sell you something and then you maybe pay us? So that's still holding. I think that is some weak news. I honestly don't know where Affirm goes from here. Just I wouldn't own this thing. It's probably been about a year and a half, maybe probably a year to 18 months since the last time I actually looked at the books for Affirm, and they are getting they have a lot of debt, and I would be absolutely terrified. I don't think it was back here when I looked somewhere. I think it was like $40-$50. Yeah, somewhere up to this 56 range. I was like, what's happening here? This is a double bottom, looked interesting. And I was like, these guys don't really make any money or have any, what I think, future. But I mean, that's me. It's tough to run a business where people don't pay you. I mean, that should be business 101, I think. Yeah, buy now, pay never. It's more of a charity. They should get charity credits for taxes. But yeah, so Affirm, you do have this little gap up on Affirm. It is a gap and go again inside yesterday's candle. I think yesterday's news still kind of looms on it. If you want to take a shot at it down here, all right. I'd probably go swing trade more than anything. See if you could buy it maybe closer to, I don't know, 959, and then your stop probably somewhere around 874. I don't love Affirm. I don't love the company. I don't think they make money. I don't think they'll be around in 10 years. That's just me trying to be positive. But I could be wrong. You guys might love Affirm. Everything might be good. And this is a decent, at least, spot. You could limit your risk if this thing starts breaking that potential double bottom. This, if we start breaking yesterday's candle to the high side, so 1017, you had some volume. Maybe this is capitulation volume. It's possible, but that capitulation is also based on some pretty big competitors stepping into their nonsensical business. So I don't know. But it is a gap and go. TSM. Taiwan Semiconductors. I like these guys also as an AI play. I don't think the AI story has gone away. Again, that's a little bit longer term thinking, but you do have pretty generous looking head and shoulders. This was your neckline. My biggest problem with this one is we never really tested that neckline. So I would love to see some kind of pullback. That being said, it doesn't have to. I do like the company in general. Buy shares, small batches, and looks good for a day trade basis. I have just never day traded this one. I have swung trade this one before, never day trade. So I don't know how this thing moves or how the volume is in Taiwan Semiconductor. But so this is a retest gap technically, and I would look more for a fade on this one. As high as you possibly can. I don't know that we get to 92.33. That would be an impressive move. We do have a little bit of kind of a bear trap just setting up, but I think the candle from 2 days ago will cause a little bit of more directional wind downward than probably giving it some momentum to the upside. So until that breaks, and once that does break, we still have a lot up here. So it's tough to go bullish on this. This would be a fade, but I'd have to get it as close as possible to 92.30. Not sure if we can get there, but as close as possible. So any type of gap up, high of 2 days ago. What's today? Wednesday? So this is Monday's candle. The high of Monday, then I'd probably look to fade this thing, retrace it back to the bullish side. Yep, MU is a bullish gap and go. Yeah, I forgot they had earnings too. Bullish gap and go, MU. I'm going to put MU on the list. And I'm going to drag it higher. They did have earnings. I believe they came out, and I thought they lost on earnings, actually. So there's a kind of a mysterious gap up on what I thought was a miss. Let me just see. Yeah, they missed everywhere. So surprise the downside, missed earnings per share, and then surprise they lost money as well. I was thinking for a second, I was like, I'm pretty sure they missed. Why would they gap? Be careful on this one, Stephen King. So Stephen King says, yeah, go figure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just go all in, take out a second mortgage, and just forget the R system. Like, play the "Are you seriously going bullish?" after that kind of report. That's the kind of play you need. But yeah, you are gapping into a little bit of resistance. There's going to be some more resistance over there. It was not a generous report. Maybe they took the cue from NVIDIA and just mentioned the word AI 95,000 times. So I don't know. Potentially, but that's not a good report to go off of. I don't got good really catalyst. You are gapping into resistance. Honestly, I don't know if that I would play this thing bearish either. I would lean to the bearish side if anything, but there's probably not enough room in there to go bearish. I would probably just almost sit this one out, to be honest. Lulu, yeah, Lehman. I like Lulu to the fade, so we were looking at that one this morning. And maybe we can find some pre-market levels. Let me see if there's anything else. Brio wants to take a look at Googs. GOOGL. The Googs. That's technically a gap and go too. Yeah, again, we are going to hit with a little resistance, comes in at 103.09. If that breaks, we have a really nice trade. So that takes us to about 104.74. So you have one real level of resistance. If that could break, if everything else is going to run bullish today, Again, the Qs itself was a little bit more struggle bus than the SPY. SPY actually looked a little bit better. So we'll see what happens on that one. Let's see if we could do a pre-market trade on Lulu, or at least set it up for when the market opens. We're live already. Let's go into the 5-minute. Let's put on extended hours. Let's see if we get any levels of support, but I am looking for a breakdown on this one. It's up a lot. Okay, so what do we want to do with Lulu? Unless it's just going to sink and dive without us. Can we get back to 373.50? That would be a great spot if we can. I don't know that we can get there, though. I think we'd probably be more looking for somewhere in the 370.58, and then we got to still get our stops up to about 374.55. It could be that's almost a $4.50 move. I mean, it's up $50, so I don't know what I'm freaking out about, but that seems big. That seems a little too big. I would like to get in here. This is where I would like to get in. I'll even go a little bit lower. 373.30. I might just leave this one out there, see what happens. 373.30. And then I'm just going to go high of the day. 377.80. 0.80. That still gives me, I still need to get to 364. Obviously, we're almost there already, so that'd be one big bounce. Looking for some kind of double top. I'm not going to throw this one out there pre-market. I kind of need a lot to happen. I don't know if we get up there. Maybe there's a different setup that we could take. That would be the zone, though. Breakout. That should be the retest. I think a little bit later, maybe in the morning, if we get some kind of a big run, I'm going to go bearish on this thing. We'll see. But we still got 2 minutes till the open comes. Scott says some manipulation may be at play. Yeah, don't know. The entire market's manipulated. I'm not gonna lie. I know most people go, it's not manipulated. It's all in your head. No, it is. It's manipulated. Manipulated to the people that have money. That's usually how that works. The more money you have, the more shares you control. The more shares you control, the more of a direction you could create. The more direction you could create, the more ability you have to get onto CNBC and become a talking head, and then tell people why you like your company so much, and then other people start to rally it up. So, in a certain way, it might be a little manipulated. But Lulu looks good. Disney kind of looks okay. Otherwise, I'm not seeing too much. Tesla looked interesting. Do we have any pre-market levels in Tesla? We're getting some kind of pops. Probably going to need a pullback to at least 192.52. That could be an order we look to set. Let's throw this one out real quick. 192.52. This is bullish. We go stop maybe here. Stop. What do we got? 35 seconds. I'm gonna wait for the market to open, but at least now I have levels to look at. 192.52, and I'll be looking for 191.63. Gives me 194.30 for 2 hours. All right, everybody in YouTube land, I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us each and every day. Be safe out there in the market. I don't really see any big news headwinds coming out today, but that's the black swan that nobody sees. So be careful, be safe, and we'll catch all you guys